Hello class 7th, here is Kaushalya, your English teacher, and today we are going to discuss chapter 8 verbs. In our previous classes we have learned a lot about verbs, so let us have a recall. Verb is a word which says something about a subject. It denotes an action, being, possession. It is most important word in a sentence. For example, the boys play cricket. Ravi is clever. He has a beautiful coat. Now, in this sentences, play, is, has are the example of verbs, right? So verb always denote an action, state of being and possession, and it is most important word in a sentence. Verb is of three kinds: doing verb, being verb, and having verb. Doing verb. It indicates the action or work done by the subject. Examples: play, eat, run, read, come, cook, wear, walk, etc. Being verbs. It indicate the being or existence of the subject. Example: am, is, are, was, were, will be, shall be, etc. And the third one is having verb. It indicates the having or possession of something by the subject. Example: has, have, had, having, etc. So, verbs can be further classified as principal or main verb. A main verb is the root form of an action word. It can be modified as per the tense required in the sentence. It alone makes a sentence complete and meaningful, right? So, main verb is the root form of an action word. It can be modified as per the tense required in the sentence. For example, Namita kicks the football. Anurag speaks politely. Now, here kicks and speaks are the example of main verbs. The second type of verb is auxiliary verb or helping verb. An auxiliary verb is used with main verb to express its different moods according to the tenses. For example, my parents have returned from the market. Teacher is teaching the student. Now here have and is are auxiliary verb, right? And they help to express different moods according to the tense. Difference between main verb and auxiliary verb. Main verb must be present in every sentence. Only appears in certain clauses or types of sentence, right? So auxiliary verbs appear in certain clauses or type of sentence. Main verb does not require any additional verb. Auxiliary verb requires main verb. There can be only one in the sentence. Main verb can be only one in a sentence. More than one can occur in a single sentence. More than one auxiliary verb may occur in a single sentence. It is not directly negated only by the aid of an auxiliary verb, right? So we do not directly negate a main verb, but we do it with the help of auxiliary verb. Not is usually used for negation, right? So this is the difference between main verb and auxiliary verb. Verbs can also be classified as finite verbs and non-finite verbs. A finite verb changes its form in accordance with the subject of the sentence, right? For example, they watch cricket match on TV. He watches cricket match on TV. So, finite verbs are the verbs which change according to the subject, right? And you can see here the verb watch changes accordingly. So, finite verb has an agreement with the subject. A non-finite verb remains neutral towards the tense of the sentence. It does not change according to the subject. So this is the main difference between finite verb and non-finite verb. Non-finite verb does not change according to the subject, it remains same. For example, they love to watch cricket match on TV. He loves to watch cricket match on TV. Now here, to watch doesn't change according to the subject. Hence, they are called non-finite verb. We can also classify verbs as transitive verbs and intransitive verbs. A verb which requires an object to complete its sense is called transitive verb. For example, the boys played a match, the student reads a book. Now, here in the first example, the object is a match, right? And our verb played requires the object to complete the sense. Similarly, in the second sentence, reads is the verb and a book is the object, and our verb requires an object to complete the sense. Hence, these are the example of transitive verbs. So transitive verb always require an object to complete the sense of the sentence. Intransitive verbs. A verb that does not require an object and makes complete sense is called in a intransitive verb, right? So such verbs which do not require any type of object to make a complete sense and they make sense by themselves are called intransitive verbs. For example, the boy spoke softly, the old man ate slowly, right? So here spoke and ate does not need any object to complete the sense, and hence these are the example of intransitive verbs. What is the difference between transitive verbs and intransitive verbs? Transitive verb is an action verb that has an object to receive the action. Intransitive verbs is an action verb that does not require an object. They can be followed by both direct or indirect objects. They can be followed by a complement. A sentence with a transitive verb can be turned into passive voice. A sentence with intransitive verb cannot be turned into passive voice. Example, I baked some cookies, he is laughing. So today we learned main verb. A verb which tells what a noun does is called a main verb. Auxiliary verb. An auxiliary verb is used with main verb to express its different moods according to the tenses. Transitive verb, a verb which requires an object to complete its sense, is called a transitive verb. Intransitive verb, a verb that does not require an object and makes a complete sense by itself, is called an intransitive verb. And finite verb, a finite verb changes its form in accordance with the subject of the sentence. Non-finite verb, a non-finite verb remains neutral towards the tense of a sentence. It does not change according to the subject, right? So finite verb has an agreement with the subject. It changes in according to the subject, and non-finite verb is neutral and does not change according to the subject. So this is all that we learned today. I hope you have understood the topic. Thank you.